I began to run away from home. I began to skip school because I didn't know how to deal with what I was dealing with. What I needed was someone to talk to, and what I received was being shackled and taken away to a juvenile detention facility. Steny Hoyer takes money from corporations that profit off of the most vulnerable, marginalized people in our community. And I know this because I'm one of them.
She's running against an insurgent campaign against a 20-term congressman. It isn't easy, let alone during a pandemic. But one Maryland congressional candidate, she thinks she has a shot. She wants to define her candidacy by more than her similarities to a certain congresswoman from the Bronx.
That's right. Mckayla Wilkes told WAMU, quote, "I love AOC and I love the precedent she has set for regular people to run for Congress, but I do not want to be the next AOC. I want to be the first." Mckayla Wilkes. And Mckayla joins us now via Skype to share more about her campaign and platform and what her response to coronavirus would be. It's great to see you, Mckayla. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, great to see you all as well.
Absolutely.
So this is your second time here. I think I was actually out the first time we interviewed you, which was my loss. But for folks who don't know about you and the campaign you're running, just sort of lay out why you decided to run.
I decided to run for Congress because regular people deserve to be represented by regular people. And for too long, regular people have not been looked out for in the halls of Congress. The big corporations have. One of the main reasons why I decided to run for Congress is because I've experienced firsthand how injustice our political system is. I've been a victim of our broken criminal justice system, of our broken healthcare or health insurance system. And so I know how legislation affects regular people.
So, Mckayla, one of the things that we have seen rile some races, like progressive challengers like yourself, to Democratic establishment lawmakers is over the issue of Tara Reade's allegations against Joe Biden. Are you satisfied with Steny Hoyer and the Democratic establishment's belief with Joe Biden, or do you disagree with their stance on that?
I would have to say that I disagree. I believe that Tara Reade's accusations deserve to be looked into. They deserve to be investigated, and that we should start to believe women when they tell us something is going on. I'm a victim, a survivor of sexual abuse as well. And so I absolutely think that we should be giving Tara Reade the chance to tell her story.
And Mckayla, what do you think that the response, not just from the Democratic Party, but from the national media on this issue, like what is the message that it's sending to survivors like yourself and other survivors around the country?
The message that it's sending is that what we say doesn't matter as long as you are accusing someone who's in a position of power.
So, Mckayla, one of the things you talked about earlier was about this bailout bill. I mean, are you satisfied with the way that the Democratic leadership and Steny Hoyer has been conducting himself with this bailout bill? What are the types of things that if you were to replace him, you would be fighting for to put into it?
So I'm very unsatisfied with the bailout bill. I mean, it includes another $1,200 payment, which is, it's better than nothing, and it's absolutely better than what the Republicans are suggesting or what they're trying to put in place. But it's just simply not enough. We have a moratorium on evictions here in Maryland, but I believe that there needs to be not only a rent cancellation, but also a mortgage cancellation. And I believe that would not only help residents, but it would help small businesses as well. I think that instead of giving people a one-time means-tested $1,200 payment, that everyone should get $2,000 a month, $500 per child until this crisis is over. I think that we need to include more funding for PPE. I think that those who are working as essential workers should get a bonus of 75% on top of their salary. And I also believe that we should be expanding Medicare by supporting the Medicare crisis bill instead of what the Dems are currently trying to do, which is expand COBRA and provide a huge bailout for insurance companies.
And Mckayla, how has the pandemic impacted your ability to campaign? There's been a concern that this would sort of hamstring progressive challengers who may rely disproportionately on boots on the ground and that kind of like in the field organizing. How has it impacted you?
I would say that our campaign is fortunate enough to have already knocked on thousands of doors before this pandemic has happened. We started campaigning very early, but we have shifted over to a completely remote campaign. We're phone banking, we're relying on digital ads, but I will say that we are completely in our element. This is how our campaign started. When we first began, I was the only person, a part of the campaign, that was in the United States. Everyone else was studying abroad. And so it's kind of like we've just reverted back to the way we were doing things before.
All right. Well, Mckayla, we wish you the best of luck. Great to see you again.
Thanks, Mckayla.
Great to see you again, too. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Next on Rising, the next group potentially set to get a coronavirus bailout from Congress. That's lobbyists. Journalist David Sirota, he tells us more when Rising continues.